This is an introduction to plants. We're going to talk about how new plants form.
Hi, I'm Michelle, and I'm going to talk to you today about plant life. And this unit is going to be about how plants regenerate new life. And usually you would think about seeds when you talk about that, but I'm going to talk to you about how leaves propagate new life from succulents today. And one of the difference between a succulent and a regular plant is that these plants leaves are pretty thin, but these are kind of fleshy. They hold water in it. And that is the case because if they're exposed to drought, they have their own water source inside and they can withstand drought a little bit better because they store water in the flesh of the leaves. Succulents, unlike these plants, like well-drained soil or sandy soil, and they do like sunlight or partial sunlight most of the day. By well-drained soil, I mean that when you water it lightly, and there isn't an opportunity for the water to sit on the plant roots. So you can encourage this when you pot it by mixing gravel in with the dirt or having a gravel layer at the bottom of the pot so that excessive water drains down and doesn't affect the root. Now, I received this succulent as a gift, and it was potted by the florist, and one of the plants inside of it started to rot. So it got real flexible at the base of the stem, and it started to get brown and sickly looking, and the stems started to tip. And when I saw that it had a lot of leaves on it, sort of like this one. And I knew that this plant was going to die because it doesn't like to be soggy like that. So I tried to let it, not water it, but it wasn't soon enough. It had too much water at that point. So I broke the leaves off the plant like I'm going to do right now. So you just snap it off like that at the stem. And then you take a tray of dirt like I have here that has a little bit of gravel mixed in with it so it drains well. And you lay the leaf flat on the dirt. So you cover the whole tray with as many of the leaves as you can. And then you let it dry for 1 week. You don't water it. You don't do anything to it. It doesn't need sunlight. It just needs to dry. So then after 1 week, you start to see where little roots will grow off the end of the leaf where there wasn't anything before. So if you can see, there's a little root here on this leaf. Now, the next step after about a week of that, once you've let it dry for a week, then you start to mist it. So by week 2, you're starting to mist it about once a day, just lightly misting it so it doesn't get too much water. It's not going to like it if you wet it all the way. And you start to get little growths that come off the plants, and it looks like a new baby plant. And that is how you propagate succulents. Now, often when we see new leaves, new plants growing, or new trees growing, it's because they dropped a seed. And I'm going to show you a weed that I picked from my garden. And it has leaves, like a succulent, and it has a stem, like a succulent. But this one has a seed. And when this one wants to make a new plant, it would drop the seed in the dirt, and a new plant would form. And right beside this plant, I had this baby plant that was exactly like its parent plant, except that it wasn't mature enough yet to grow the seed. So it has the roots and the stem and the leaves. And that's what happens when you drop seeds. A new baby plant will form, and it will look just like its parent plant. Here's another kind of seed that a tree will drop. You're familiar with acorns. When acorns get rooted in the dirt well enough, they can start a new tree. But so can this seed. This is called a tulip tree seed, and it looks like a little flower when it first falls, and it has a little seed inside. So if you let this seed be, it will grow into a tree as well. Now sometimes the succulent plants look like flowers, but they aren't. Like this particular plant here, some of these leaves form and they look like little flower shapes. And then some of them look spiky with little edges on the side, and some of the succulents are related to the cactus, but not all succulents are. And there's a difference. And then the star here, if you have this out in the sun, it will turn pink. So unlike this plant, that has the thin leaves, it doesn't like as much water. This one would like a good watering regularly. And this plant here is called the Wandering Jew. The more it grows, the longer it gets. Do you see the moth on this plant? These plants, all of them, are habitats for insects and also a food source for insects. I'm going to show you one other kind of succulent that likes to grow in the garden, and it's right over here. This one's called a sedum, and it's in the succulent family. And if you wanted to make more sedums, you would do it the same way by breaking the leaves off and putting them in dirt, propagating the leaves. And it has a little flower on top. Unlike the others, this one has a flower. So that's it. Now you know how to propagate a succulent. I'm Michelle Krieger. Thank you for listening.
So, are you ready to grow your own succulents? Step 1. Remove the leaf from the stem. Step 2. Lay the leaf flat in the dirt and dry for 1 week. Step 3. Mist leaves with water daily.